Welcome back. Of course, it's still the morning brief right here on Channels Television. And you just heard the President, Bola Tinubu, talking about youth empowerment and how to help youths in the next 4 years. But the question is, has anything changed in the last 1 year? Well, we're having those answers. We have two guests. Oladimeji Fabiyi is a PDP stakeholder, strategic management consultant. And of course, we have Andrew Abu, who's the chairman of the Progressive Forum, and he's also a member of the All Progressives Congress, the APC. Thank you, gentlemen, for coming on the program.
Thank you for having us.
All right, let me start with you, Mr. Fabiyi. President Tinubu talked about youth employment. He also said to cut youth unemployment rates in half, and that will happen in the next 4 years. So we have 1 year gone already. If you do the maths or you do the ratings, do you think that in the next 4 years he will be able to cut youth unemployment rate into half?
Okay, thank you very much. Good morning, Nigerians. For me, I think Mr. President made lots of promises, a lot of pledges, you know, when he came in, especially from what he just showed us now. Not just promises for the youth, promise on the economy, promise on security, promise on employment, and ending, extreme poverty and all of that. All these are a combination of things that can actually help the youth, because if you create employment, if you succeeded in creating employment and jobs for the teeming youth, the youths will be better off. I don't think there will be any complaint. As far as I know, a lot has not been achieved in that regard. In May 2023, 2023, when Mr. President came on board, he made pledges on how to remodel our economy, that will bring about growth, that will bring about development through food security, through employment, through ending, extreme poverty and all that. But 12 months down the lane, I don't think we've been able to achieve most of these things. The question on how to assess this government, whether on youth, policies made on youth or any other sector of the economy, is to ask a question of what have they been able to do, what have they done, what have they not done, what have they achieved, what the one they have done, and all of that. So, but for me, based on the question you just asked, I don't think the Nigerian youth have been able to get better deal from where the standpoint of the government at this level. This is just 1 year into the government. I believe that if the government is serious enough, there's still room to do more to make sure that youths feel the impact of the current leadership and feel the impact of being Nigerians. So it's still possible. It's still possible.
So maybe you talk about what he has achieved so far in the last 1 year.
Like I said, much has not really been achieved. Because we still have lots of our youths on the street looking for jobs.
Yeah, Mr. Abu, please answer that.
Provide jobs for them, then what have we achieved? So I challenge the Minister for Youth to tell us what they've been able to achieve in the last 1 year in providing youth, good work, employment for our youths.
Mr. Oladimeji, was for Mr. Abu to respond to that, particularly when you see that the youth unemployment rate, which Anne talked about, has not reduced. Yes, he said 4 years, but over the past 1 year, rather than seeing a reduction, we're seeing an increase. It's about over 8% at 8.6%, and just before the president came in, it was 6.9%. So we're seeing an increase, and they say that, you will know the direction of a thing even from the very early stages of the steps being taken. So, Mr. Abu, we're seeing an increase, not a decrease. So can we still achieve that to begin with?
Well, thank you for having me, and I want to say congratulations to Mr. President and his team for the 1 year anniversary of this government. So back to what the president had promised and what if it can be achieved. So first off, promises, I always say this, that promises are totally different from reality. But having said that, it's important also for people to know that the president has created a student loan, and this is tailored towards, young Nigerians who falls within, the youth demography. So yes, so is the government doing in regard to how the lives of young Nigerians can be better off? Yes. Now, 1 year, the question I'll be asking is, 1 year, is it enough to rate a government, that has 4 years to run? The answer is yes or no. Now, if you say yes, like you said, it is from, the start of a government that you will know how it is going to turn out. Unfortunately, governance is not run like that. A lot of times, before you get into an office, you make promises, and by the time you get into that office, what you are going to be faced with will be totally different from what you even think you knew from the outside. So yes, this government met a lot of issues on ground, and this is not to say that government is not a continuum, there are challenges. Of course, from the campaigns until, elections came and passed and the government got inaugurated, there are challenges, and the government and the president acknowledged these challenges, even right during the campaigns. So yes, we have found ourselves in a place where, there are issues here and there. Are these issues being tackled? Yes, they are being tackled. Are these issues tackled the way Nigerians expect them to be tackled? Maybe people will have their reservations and differences about how this is, the approaches on how problems, that is confronting us from every angle, be it youth or, senior citizens or women and men. I mean, there are ways people expect that the government should handle this. So I know of the fact that the government is doing their best to, ensure that things get better for it. Yes, we might not be seeing a lot of things that the government is doing yet, and it's simple. There are a lot of, programs that is ongoing that is going to be midterm, short-term, midterm, and long-term, and I so far, there are a lot of things that is happening that, results will start showing from maybe second year or even third year, So yes, there's work to be done, and the government and the president say that much for every time he has an opportunity to speak to Nigerians, and, from different times he have said he wished there were other ways, to solve these problems. Unfortunately, there are no other way but the way, he's going about it. So yes, we need to give a little bit of time to see, how things can, turn out for the good of all of us.
All right, let's go to Mr. Fabiyi. We know that entrepreneurs play a major role in the economy of Nigeria, especially when most people come out of school, they don't get jobs, so a lot of people just move into entrepreneurship. So the president also made a promise about youth entrepreneurship and job creation. It said that business incubation centers, it will expand incubation centers just to support youth innovators. How much effort has been put into expanding these incubators or creating them? Because most of the time we see that corporate organizations or private institutions are the ones who actually create these incubators. So do you think that the government should be working with these private institutions, or do you think the government can do this alone?
The level of how much they kidnap people and the level of how so many things was happening sporadically at some point has reduced to a drastic level. Now today we can comfortably say, have the level of insecurity reduced in the last 3 to 4 months drastically? Yes, it has. Okay, and we agree and also accept the fact that government needs to do more. And this government and the president, the beauty of it is that the president feels the pains of Nigerians and he speaks to this all the time. But it is important for the people that work with the president to know that this is very, very important to Nigerians, and their efforts and what we expect from them must be met. Otherwise, the president has the big stick and he has to wield it at some point. Now, we can agree that 1 year or maybe 8 months of the ministers in place is not enough to give them a scorecard, okay? But the fact remains that for everything we expect from them, we need to start seeing those signs. You know, it goes beyond just talking. You know, they must walk the talk. And this, for us, is our party and it is our government. The president is going to finish after 4 years or 8 years and leave. We will still remain here and we will still campaign for the APC and we will still want our government to continue in governance. Okay, so it is very important for us to always ensure that we hold all government officials accountable and ensure that they do what they are supposed to do for the common good of Nigerians.
Mr. Abu, since you have so much faith in the APC, of course you're a member, so it's expected. Let's look at the future. In the next 3 years, what do you see government putting more, maybe prioritizing? Because maybe we borrow some faith from you, from what has gone on in the last 1 year. In the next 3 years, what do you think we should be seeing the present administration achieving?
So in the next 3 years...
Specifics.
From every indication, agriculture is we are going to have some reasonable level of growth because, you see, like I said earlier, a lot of things that are in place, that the government is doing correctly, there are things that you might not have results till after 2 or 3 years. Agriculture, from what we can see, you know, even though, you know, the people manning that ministry need to step up a bit, have more communication. I think part of the problem these ministers are having is they don't communicate, you know, their policies and their actions, you know. So they need to step up and communicate more with Nigerians. Let's know what they are doing. Now, I am privileged to know a few things that they are doing, and that's why I can say in the next 2-3 years, we'll see results, you know, growth in that path. Then education, youth empowerment, and all of that. These are things that does not happen by fiat. They are things that, you know, it has an incubation period, and that is what we are experiencing right now. And we will keep tabs on these things to ensure that all those policies does not derail, so that we can achieve a good fit by the end of 3 years. And I want Nigerians to keeping faith and know that things are going to change. The economy is going to have a turnaround. You know, as at this morning, when I was checking, you know, the exchange rate, it has dropped from 1.5 to like 1,100, you know, per dollar. Now, with time, these things are we will see the results, because I know that the economic team, they are working very hard. Yes, we know they need to do more, and we'll put them under pressure to do more. Because Nigerians, and even us, we're tired of hearing excuses. And we want to see the people saddled with responsibility deliver on the responsibility they are saddled with, you know, and nothing short of that. And we'll keep holding them accountable, and we'll keep, you know, putting pressure on them. Because I am first a Nigerian before an APC member. Saddled with.
Well, Mr. Abu, how much did you say naira to the dollar is now?
As of this morning, I heard is 1,000. Official rate I heard is 1,100 to a dollar.
Okay, that's really curious, because I haven't gotten that memo, but maybe we'll find out who the dealer is, and hopefully we can all enjoy that largesse, as it will seem. But let's wind down, gentlemen, because the figures are out there. A lot of them are in the red. Just perhaps a few of them you can point to that have been fluctuating, but majority of them are in the red. So this renewed hope that the president promised, and is still promising, needs to come through ASAP for Nigerians. So, Mr. Fabi, I want to come to you, because there's been a back and forth. Will the president speak to Nigerians today or not? Even his aides don't seem to agree on that point. If you would want to hear from the president, what is that thing you want to hear the president maybe say to Nigerians, in terms of, is it apologize or keep promising Nigerians and say, don't worry, stick with me, I'll make this work? What kind of messaging do you expect from the president, and decisions do you expect today regarding governance?
Well, thank you very much. I think Mr. President has a lot to do, a lot to tell Nigerians, because he's going to give the scorecard of what he has been able to achieve in the last 1 year. But beyond that, I'm an advocate of a president or a leader that has the capacity to take tough decision. But your tough decision, there's something in risk. We did in risk, it's called calculated risk. So your tough decision must be one that is calculated and that is going to be geared towards achieving your objective, or your stated objective, your goals. For me, I'm hoping Mr. President will be bold enough to tell us some of the mistakes, some of the things they've not been able to achieve, the ones they've been able to achieve, and how they are going to achieve it. It goes beyond just speaking about reforms. Your reforms and how to implement them must be clear. Because when you have reforms or policies that are not that are lack destination, you're going to run into trouble. You're going to be going into trial and error all the time. And that's what I wouldn't want that to. I wouldn't want that to continue. For me, Mr. President should tell Nigerians, it's going to be about action. It's not going to be about talk, because Nigeria needs action. They need to get things done. Nigerians are in a hurry. Nigeria has become a desperate country that need to do something very drastic to get them back. So for him and for the entire country, it's good if Mr. President can come out today and tell Nigeria as it is, tell them the honest truth, tell them the hard decision he wants to take and how he's going to achieve them. That's exactly what we're expecting. Nigeria is not having it really good now. They've suffered from abysmal failure of Buhari's 8-year government, and it's impossible. It's unacceptable to continue with this government. So we've just done 1 year, so we still have 3 years. And Mr. President and his team still have opportunity to make a detour and get things done and get it right. So that's my take on that.
Well, it's quite interesting. Now, I'll find out what Mr. Abu has to say about that. Yes, NAFEM exchange rate 1,170 something, and that's because of the interventions we've seen from the CBN, but the black market rate, of course, is more than that. So what would you want to hear from the president, Mr. Abu, and what decision would you want him to make? By the way, are you also shocked by the back and forth between his aides, whether or not he will speak? Is that something that is expected as well?
So I'm surprised that happened, but I think it's an internal problem and it's going to be resolved. Okay, yeah. So there's a gap. There's an obvious gap in communication between, the spokespersons to the president, and yeah, I mean, we're humans. Those things happen, But I know it will be corrected. Now, my appearance on this TV this morning is not going to be complete if I leave here without mentioning the different level of infrastructural development we've had in the last 1 year. Of course, as you know, the president, because of course I saw your cameras there, the president did a bit of commissioning and is going to continue with that, from today till, sometime next month. Okay, so yes, to a large extent, we've seen a bit of leap, in infrastructure for just 1 year. So I'm give and take, I'm looking at, another 2-3 years, what, the country is going to experience when it comes to, that aspect. Yes, so I'll expect the president, to speak to Nigerians and, give them more hope, and let's see practicable hope, and let's see things that, can revive that hope that the average Nigerian always latch on to survive,
Okay.
Good thing is our mantra has been the renewed hope, and we want Nigerians to keep believing. Look, I'm a Nigerian, and I always believe in this country, and I know that this country is going to work for the good of all. Now, it doesn't have to do with the president, or it has to do with Nigeria, and if it's good for us, if the country is better for it, it's going to affect everybody positively.
Thank you very much. All right, that's a good place to end this segment. Mr. Andrew Abu, Chairman of the Progressives Forum and member of the APC, and of course, Mr. Oladimeji Fabiyi, PDP stakeholder, strategic management consultant. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for your contributions on the program today, and thank you, and happy celebration. Oh, congratulations to you both.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, so I think we want to hear congratulations. We want things to work. We say that you don't throw the baby away with the bathwater. So we have faith. I mean, this is a country we have. We can't go anywhere. So we hope that things work out. And in the next 4 years, or 3 years, we'll be saying wonderful stories about the beautiful things that have been created in Nigeria. But we'll go in a moment now. We'll go on a short break, or we definitely will be back with more. You don't want to miss the next segment. It's a comedian, so stay with us.